Hey everyone, today we're going to check your exponents practice. Number one, so we have 25 to the 0 power. Remember, anything to the 0 power equals 1. Number two, so I noticed two things I need to combine or multiply. So first my coefficients, 3 times 2 is 6. And then I have a common base of x. I have x squared times x to the 5th, so we keep the base. Add the exponents. That is our product rule. So 6x to the 7th power. Number 3, I noticed the power rule. So what that means is we keep the base and we multiply the exponents. So 2 to the 2nd power, or 2 times 2 is 4. We could either leave it as 2 to the 4th power, or we can multiply that out. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So you should have gotten, let me write that better, 2 to the 4th power or 16. Both of those are correct. On a test, you would simply look at your choices to determine which one they want you to use. Now take a look at number 4. I noticed two rules. The first rule is I notice a negative exponent, and then I also notice the power rule. So let's get rid of that negative first. So the negative exponent rule says that I take the reciprocal of the base. That's how I make that positive. So I have 1 over 3m all to the 2nd power. Now the power rule says I multiply the exponents. So remember, if there's no exponent, it's a 1. So this becomes 1 over 3 to the 1 times 2 is 2. And m to the 1 times 2 is 2. We could leave it like that if your choice has it with exponents, but most simplified, you're going to get 3 squared, which is 9m squared. So your final answer would be 1 over 9m squared. Take a look at number 5. In number 5, the first thing I notice is I have division, but I also see a negative exponent. So let's just take it I like to say one column or one thing at a time. So first, let's reduce this 25 over 5. And when I do that, I notice that 5 divides evenly into both of those. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now let's deal with the r's. So when I look at the r's, I notice I need to, let me make this smaller, deal with that negative exponent first. So what that's going to do is I'll have r to the 3rd times r to the 2nd on the bottom. And then I simplify. 5 over 1 you can make invisible because I have other things down there. And then this is the product rule. Keep the base. Add the exponents. 3 plus 2 is 5. So your final answer is 5 over r to the 5th power. Now let's take a look at number 6. On 6, I see a couple of things. I see the product rule, and I also see a negative exponent, but I'll deal with that at the end. So let's deal with our x's first. So for x, I have negative 4 plus 2, because you want to add the exponents. But negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Now let's deal with our y's. We have y squared times y to the 3rd. Keep the base, add the exponents. We cannot have a negative exponent in our answer, so this x to the negative 2nd power will move to the bottom. So this becomes y to the 5th over x squared, and that is your simplified answer. Now let's take a look at number 7. So I notice the power rule. The 4 is not inside the parentheses, so I just bring it down. Then for a squared to the 3rd power, power rule says you keep the base, multiply the exponent. So 2 times 3 is 6. So 4a to the 6th is your answer. Here's another division problem. So first, I'm going to simplify 4 over 16. 4 will go into both of those evenly. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So I've dealt with those numbers, the coefficients. Now let's look at the y's. I notice both of those have negative exponents. So that just means they're both going to change their position or become reciprocals in that fraction. Now I can ask myself, leave the 1/4 alone, where I see y's. Where do I have more y's? On the bottom. How many more? 5 minus 2 is 3. So your final answer should be 1 over 4y to the 3rd power. Number 9 we'll do similarly. And remember, these are more than likely the ones you're going to see on your EOC. So first, let's reduce our coefficients. 5 over 5, both of those are divisible by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now let's look at our ends. I have 6 ends on top, 4 on bottom. Where do I have more? On the top. How many more? 6 minus 4 is 2. Now let's deal with the r's. I notice there's a negative exponent on the bottom, so I'm going to have to move those up top to make them positive. Now let's simplify. So I have 1n squared. This is now the product rule. So I keep the base and I add the exponents. I don't have to put over 1. I'm going to, but now let's simplify. This coefficient of 1 can become invisible. And that divided by 1, I don't have to do that. That just gives me the same answer. So your final answer should be n squared r to the 7th. And now let's do the last one. The last one, all I noticed here is the product rule. So I keep the base, add the exponents. If your choices are in exponential form, that's what that would look like. If we expand it or evaluate it, 1, 2, 3, 4, we need one more. So we have 3 times 3 is 9. I'm also going to do 3 times 3, which is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. And then 81 times 3, let's see what 81 times 3 is. 81 times 3 is 243. So 3 to the 5th or 243 would be your answers.